Okay, so it's April, welcome, and it's probably about that time that if you had some New Year's resolutions that you were starting with or some goals that you kind of kicked off in January, they're starting to wear off a little bit. So this video is for you. We've been trained and conditioned for some reason in this industry to think that when we go into a class, we have to go full throttle, 100%, everything you got, oh my God, but you don't. As long as you keep things clean for your body, as long as there's a respect that goes into your body, you can still really do great things without going to that full throttle maximum workout. In fact, in some ways, in the long term, it actually works out better. It's because your perspective is in a cleaner place. Now, if you're somebody who's training for like maximum gains or something like that, or if you're an athlete that is training for something very specific, then maybe this might not be the video for you, but otherwise for those of us with general fitness goals, it doesn't have to be full throttle all of the time. This idea that we need to go 100% and full throttle in every single class is an expectation that we put on ourselves that can actually do more damage than good in the long run. Think about the fitness industry. The fitness industry really has only been around the way that it is for the last maybe 50 years. And it's become such a huge industry nowadays for one specific reason, because life is different now. Think about it. Before 50 years ago, life was a lot harder. Think about 100 years ago. Your life would be probably maybe living on a farm, or you'd have a lot of labor around the house that would keep you busy for 16 hours a day. And so your heart rate would be up for a really long time. Think about the world that we live in now. So now, life is a lot more easy. You can make a living sitting down. Even jobs that are technically active, like being teachers where you're on your feet, or waiters or whatnot, that still doesn't compare to the kind of labor that people had to do on a consistent basis back in the day. So our life today is very different. We've gotten a lot bigger, we've gotten a lot lazier, we've gotten more deconditioned in our muscular system, generally speaking. We've had a lot of body issues that have come along the way to the forefront, and so the fitness industry has basically stepped in as a solution to be able to remedy that situation. When I'm talking to clients about this, I usually use the visual of a storybook that's very popular. Follow me with this because I'm going to go off on a tangent, but I'll bring it home, I promise. You know Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, right? It basically is talking about lifestyle back in the day, when if you needed fresh water, you would have to climb a hill for it, right? It illustrates a life where it was about consistency. I use it basically to illustrate exactly what life used to be like when you had to climb a hill to get a pail of water, something that you needed every single day. But here's the funny thing. Jack and Jill were not doing suicide sprint runs up and down the hill every single day to try and get the best time possible in the least amount of time. In fact, they probably took it a little bit easy. They had those days where they were like, okay, you know what, we're only maybe gonna get half a pail of water today. Now I'm gonna throw a little bit of science at you. So if you're specifically going for weight loss or trying to tone up or whatever, and you're trying to take your body fat content down, here's the funny thing. Fat burn doesn't happen during the workout. Fat burn happens in the recovery. So if you're in the habit of going to these workouts and counting your calories as you're on the treadmill, then you might just be counting calories that are running around through your bloodstream. Yes, there are training methodologies that do bring the heart rate way high intensity interval training, for example. Here's the thing, the higher your heart rate is, the more your body's going to be pulling calories and energy from your bloodstream, because it's the most available, abundant source of energy. So those high intensity workouts, they do increase your metabolism because there's repair that happens once the heart rate comes down. Yes, that's absolutely true. However, don't underestimate the value of medium intensity workouts, and definitely don't skip out on the needed recovery. But the greatest skill that you can create is a habit. Having consistency, dividing out that 1 hour every single day that you do something is so much more valuable. So I'll leave you with two scenarios or two questions. What would it be like if you went in on a Monday, your first day of the week, and you gave a full throttle workout, 100%, had the most killer workout, but then didn't show up for the rest of the week because you were either too tired, too sore, or frankly, lack of motivation because you had programmed your mind into thinking that working out was going to be this torture system? Or what would it be like if your week consisted of 5 workouts that you did pretty much all the time, and each one of those workouts was maybe 25%, and you gave yourself permission during that workout to just do that 25%. You know, you had that day where you're like, I don't really feel like doing it, I'm feeling really lethargic, but I'm gonna show up anyway. I'm gonna flip on that virtual class, and maybe I'm just gonna sit on the couch and watch it. What if you gave yourself permission to do something as crazy as that? You would have showed up. It would have been in your calendar. It would have been a mark on your week. You would have been there. And eventually you'll have that day where you don't sit on the couch. Or eventually you'll have that day where you show up and you're saying, oh, well, I'm only gonna do 25%, but somehow, in the middle of the workout, that heart rate goes up and you're like, you know what? I actually have a little bit more than I thought, and you ended up doing that 100% that you didn't think that you had. That happens more often than you think, but it doesn't happen unless you show up. So between those two different scenarios, which would be better? If you had one day where you went 100% versus 5 days where you did 25%, what's more, 100% or 125%? It's better to just be there and give yourself permission to take it easy when you need to. Keep the exercises clean, obviously, but maybe don't go as deep or as fast or set such high expectations on yourself. And then always, always, always prioritize your recovery. Be good to yourself, right? Treat yourself, get good sleep, right? You'll end up winning in the